pull over. Now, of course, we don't know if that was the case here. We just simply know that a woman got out of that passenger side and she didn't get back in.
And right now, this pursuit's still ongoing on these streets, going right alongside the train there. One thing of note, Dave, that we were pointing out just before you jumped on with us was how similar area, the Southgate area, bordering right there with Huntington Park. From the last pursuit when we checked in with you, it's similar in the sense of being on these surface streets and dodging traffic left and right, blowing through intersections, stop signs. But the big difference here, aside from the fact that it's a stolen vehicle, and we saw that interaction with the woman who was in the car as well, is that the speeds here are just radically different in the sense of it's not this.
Unfortunately, I'm using my phone even though I'm sitting right in front of my computer.
To at most 40 miles an
my
hour.
Computer
it looks
is
like this
fucking
person,
up.
this man, is just zooming
Bad.
through, and that's where the danger really gets heightened, does it not?
Oh, absolutely. You got your. Their kids are out playing. Some kids aren't even in school yet, so they'll be out and about. Luckily, we haven't seen any pedestrians out there, so that's a big plus for us. But as far as the desperation goes, I mean, this, we don't know about this suspect either. You know, is it a first, second striker? Is he looking at going back in the joint, or is he, because it's a little bit faster than normal. And when the cameraman went ahead and pulled back, I didn't see any black and white on him, because they try to de-escalate the system. That's why they go into surveillance. But if they are, it's not working. So at some point, they'll probably go ahead and re-engage the pursuit.
I'm going to keep trying to get my computer going. I'd love to switch.
Yeah, I was going to say the incident commander is really the one that has their finger on the decisions of what will happen with these pursuits, and that's the person that's closely watching, right? If this is getting too dangerous for the public, if it's getting too dangerous for officers, and right now it looks like all cruisers have pulled off. So I'm wondering if producers or assignment desk here can confirm whether or not this is now turned into tracking mode. Or if this is still.
When I turned it on, they were outside of the car, and the guy got back in the car, but I don't think the girl got back in.
That's the case, right? Many times the incident commander will try to back off so that this suspect is able to just you start to follow the rules of the road at least.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point. And the sheriff's called it surveillance mode, and that's exactly what kind of looks like it's working. He actually slowed down.
Yeah, I guess he dropped her off, but they both got out of the car.
For the citizens, it's all about citizen safety. And,
they both got out of the car.
He's still blowing lights and stop signs, but I won't say he slowed down. Of course not. But eventually, he is kind of maintaining a little bit more. I believe the adrenaline's calmed down a little bit in him.
And the other thing to note here, to Dave,
he was being a gentleman. Yeah, maybe he went out and opened her door for her.
We made some distance here from when we first initially checked in with this pursuit. And you're right. It's still. The car is still speeding to the point that we have been noticing, but not to the degree at which we first chimed in. It's now, we're going under an overpass, and you always have to wonder if this is a moment where things might stop. And, okay, so the car's coming out the other end there, it seems like. As we try to maintain the eye, yes, okay, so it is looking like it's right there. And
there you go, they tried to swerve. Well, they tried to swerve. It looked like they were going to make a right turn there, and instead they decided not to and continue on. But we're getting a better look when we zoom out there.
What's up, RG and EK and Mystery and
LASD sheriff's bird, that helicopter overhead here. You saw that person, this driver here, make a U-turn and heading right back where they came from.
And yeah, press the like button.
It's giving me the indication, Dave,
give us the
that this
thumbs up.
person possibly knows this area since they're staying right in this Boyle Heights, East LA community.
Whimsical. It's a stolen car.
I agree with you, Leslie. And we've seen that before. They like hanging around areas that they know. He was going to make that right turn back there and decided not to for some reason. So he must know the area.
Yeah, Dave, I don't want to cut you off here, but it looks like that driver went under this
no way they pulled the move.
And is not making it
Did
on the
Clear
other side
Joker
road.
said.
I didn't see it either, and it looks like we're
Clear
trying
Joker
to
called
keep
it.
it wide to see if we either see that driver perhaps bail out on foot or otherwise come out the other end. But yeah, no, we have not seen it as of yet right now.
But just because we don't see that vehicle, Dave, Yeah, you know, they do have that LA Sheriff's helicopter in the sky. They're able to get a good look, right, and see if that person starts to take off.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, where are the police?
We also got a good video for them on when he let out the young lady. So we got a great description on them.
You know what, Dave? It looks like they did end up making it on the other side. If this is the
that
vehicle,
the same
it looks
vehicle?
like the gentleman, the driver, was wearing a white shirt.
Wearing a white shirt, yes.
So it looks like this is the car, the stolen vehicle that police have
Yeah,
been
that's
pursuing.
it, right?
The driver is going to continue on now, getting on the 101 north here from the 60. So now picking up on the freeway there. We know that this started with LA County sheriffs. They then told CHP to take over when the pursuit got on the 60. And now we're back on the freeway here. We haven't seen any black and whites. The sheriff's department riding behind this car, but you know, you wonder if CHP is going to pick this up now.
Yeah, you know, we had a pursuit. We didn't quite make it to TV last night where LASL requested the CHP, and the CHP said unable at this time. So we'll see if they're going to request them. The other thing I'm thinking is that, you know, when he parked underneath that bridge, and maybe he did remove something out of the back, some type of evidence or something that didn't belong to him. So there's quite, you know, maybe a weapon. We don't know yet. But it's definitely going to be a felony suspect, so we'll just keep an eye on them. You know, meanwhile, we don't see the black and whites. They're in the vicinity.
How is this a pursuit, Brooke? There's a police chopper overhead. So they are following him, the police are.
Yeah.
They're just in the air, not on the ground.
Yeah, and the car jumping back on off an exit here and coming into Central City East. That
U-turn.
The intersection, now making another U-turn and jumping back off. And obviously in that moment where this vehicle... back in Boyle Heights, making a right here, pardon me, but we obviously had that same question, or at least I did, Dave, of going under the overpass, and given our experience just from checking in with you a week ago, was, okay, now all of a sudden the possibility of
I do not understand why Prism Live doesn't make the full screen like an actual full screen, right? Like, why is there so much space around it?
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, the whole intent of this suspect is to try and find a location to dump the vehicle and find a hiding place. But looks like he's just, right now, he's not really sure where he's going. But, you know, here we get on the freeway going back to an area I believe.
Is it a police chopper or a news station? We're watching a news station, but the police chopper is up there,
giving
too.
all indications now that
There's more than one.
Is confused or really
Peter,
does
the
not
reason
have
the
a
stream
plan
is fucked
here,
like this is because my
or
computer
trying
is
to buy
fucked up.
time. Right,
So I'm
Dave?
streaming
we
from
saw
my
this
phone
last
right
weekend.
now.
That driver kept going in circles pretty much until they had what seemed like formulated a plan to get into another vehicle.
Exactly.
These suspects sometimes, they're trying to buy time, but in the end, we know that pursuit ended with all those people in custody.
Yes, everybody was in custody. 3 in our vehicle, and I believe 2 in the other vehicle. We had 2 pursuits back to back on that. Very unusual. But
pulling into
this guy's getting off on.
We're pulling onto a gas station right now, very similar to just this week. So the car's coming to a stop, reversing a bit. Difficult to see now underneath the roof of where all the pumps are, but there's the vehicle again. Okay, trying to see what exactly they're trying to do, but it speaks to that confusion of just sort of going in circles back onto the street here, essentially where they started after pulling back.
What's up, King Ed and Subatomics and
here on
RZ?
surface streets. At the moment, when we get a chance, I also want to, in case anybody is joining us or checking in, pull up that video of what happened earlier, because that's been the big crux of this entire pursuit, Dave, which is this is earlier. When we first checked in, you see this vehicle pull into sort of a parking lot adjacent to other cars. You see a woman get out of the passenger side, go inside briefly. The man gets back into the driver's seat after pulling on that passenger door behind him, didn't open. She's sort of casual, not terribly seemingly concerned. Who's to say? That's obviously part of the questions that we're asking.
Do you want to stop here because we're watching
but I don't
the
know.
vehicles?
We're stuck with this station for now.
Live.
My
They're
computer's
in a
not
parking
going to
lot
work.
now. Looked like he was going to park. Now
I hope my
he's
computer's not toast.
reversing here, and
It's bad. It
we're
looks
going to
bad.
watch the next move. He went into this shopping parking lot here and is just completely reversing
This is fucking stupid. What is he doing?
to once again drive
Within the same parking lot.
within the same parking lot. He's going to park here. get
Okay.
out of the vehicle there.
Who are these people?
Oh,
Take a look.
No?
He's going to
Okay.
take it. Yep,
he's
running
just
for it
taking
now.
off on foot, trying to see what's in.
It looks
his
like
hand.
maybe a cell phone, but I'm not really too sure. See, one hand he's holding up what looks like his pants. The other
Right.
hand, possibly, it looks like a cell phone.
It does look like a cell phone. I had this similar thought, but
And he's putting it to his ear.
People
so I'm
in
gonna
police
assume
chases really
maybe
need to
it's a cell
invest in
phone there.
belts.
and perhaps even calling for help. Maybe there's a friend out there. But Dave, this goes back to your point about, this is where the surveillance mode sort of kicks in, is that you back off and see until they
probably
stop, and
screaming,
now
you're
he's
right.
here on foot, and it, in a way, it makes the pursuit a little easier because now you're not worried about speeds. But we're going to keep an eye on this guy as he's just kind of doing his best to run away.
Yeah, making his way
Yeah.
through this it looks like residential area, possibly apartments that we passed
He's
here. It
running
does
funny
look like
because
he's
his
trying
pants
to
are
speak to
falling.
someone on the phone, and he very much knows he's being followed at this point because he is booking it at this point. Looks like, does he have two things?
Yeah,
in
there's
his
something.
hands?
It almost looked like a
Bag or-
belt or something
Okay.
initially, but it wasn't entirely sure. But yes, it did look like something else was in his hand.
He is
besides that
running
phone,
real
but
funny.
It
You
just
know,
go ahead,
the
Dave.
one thing that has me kind of worried. I'm sorry, Gio,
But wait,
Oh,
there's a
the
dog.
dog now following him.
Yo, this
one thing
guy's
that
got
kinda
good
has me
stamina
worried
though.
is
I
that
couldn't
he's
run for
holding
this long, dude.
It looks like he's holding his belt buckle or what.
Yeah.
And then, so I don't know if he had a weapon in his waistband.
Dude, that's not
that he
gonna
didn't wanna
work.
drop.
Yeah.
Always thinking the worst thing, and yeah, he's definitely talking to somebody saying, "Here I come. Here's where I'm at. Here's where I'm going.
Costume
Can you pick
change.
me up like we did the other night?"
Yeah,
you
and
see that
Davey
little
took
belt.
off his shirt.
Right, took off his shirt. You see the belt sort of dangling around his waist there, and then what looks to be his phone in his left hand.
Oh, there's a
Hard to see
cop.
it. There you go.
An LA
They should have
sheriff's
zoomed
deputy
out
was
sooner,
taking
man.
out the taser,
How
telling
long's
him
that
to
cop been
get
behind
down
him?
here.
I wish they would have zoomed out. We missed the
Right.
tasing
Tree,
or whatever
yep, there you
tackled
go.
him.
The air unit was, like I said, the units are in the vicinity. You can't see them, but the air unit's giving the direction.
He just
and
can't keep
description
off his
of the
phone.
suspect.
This cop's got to
Looks
tear
like
the phone out of his
suspect is
hand.
complying here, Dave. It does look.
But at least to see there was that stress, to Dave's point, that was going there, because you see someone's dog chasing after the suspect.
Yeah,
the
you see
video
it.
there on
It's
the right
going to
side.
happen right now. Someone's dog runs right up along that suspect as he's trying to get away there. He ran a pretty good distance.
I don't know
taking
why
off
it
his
acted like that
shirt,
for a second.
looking like he was talking to someone. We didn't see it, but there was an LA sheriff's deputy on his tail the whole time. And Dave, we're seeing one deputy. Many times we
Yeah,
see
why
at
is there only
least
one cop? I just
two,
want to know how far was
it
the
just-
cop
it just
behind him
makes me
for
think
how
how
long?
dangerous
Because he
of a
kept
safe
running, and then all of a
situation
sudden the
for
car was
that
right
deputy,
behind
but
him.
also how heroic for them to continue on and be able to get this suspect into custody.
Yeah, that might be a CHP officer there.
Oh, a
You know how
CHP
they
officer, yeah.
They run one-man car. I'm sorry, they run one officer vehicles. We have female deputies out there working by themselves also. And
It did
CHP
not last
officers,
15
so
minutes, no.
Luckily, this suspect complied. I think he was just too beat to put up a fight. But yeah, this worked out real good on our end.
You get 284
Yeah, truly.
points.
And you're right on
Nobody-
that. A correction.
nobody
It was
put
not
money on
sheriff's.
that one.
It looks like that is a CHP badge there on his arm. It looks like the
Looks like
suspect
something might have-
dropping something, still holding that phone
That
in his
phone
hand and
right
trying to text. It looks like
Text,
he's
is it? Yeah,
texting.
while
He's
handcuffed.
still trying to text,
Seems like,
dude.
and they're right there.
What is he
getting it taken
doing?
away. There was a
What the
moment there where it
fuck?
looked like the suspect was talking to the officer, and there's another one there. So some backup has come in, 2, 3, and looks like we're finally going to get an end to this pursuit, a crazy pursuit that started after, still a lot of questions to be asked, given the fact that when we first broke in with you, and Dave, when we had you on the line, it started with, we knew this was a stolen vehicle, and then there was a woman who was dropped off somewhere. Still don't know the relationship between these two. Have no idea what happened there, especially given that there was sort of a back and forth between opening some car doors, pulling out, pulling back in, and then getting, taking off on this pursuit, and now ending after parking. And this is the part that also led to more questions, was leaving the vehicle in an empty parking space, right? Going into
Oh
a
my
parking
God.
lot, dropping it off, and then taking off, as opposed to, maybe just dropping it off on the side of the road. But
My thought, Dave, is that he probably wanted to remain incognito if he got in between as many cars as possible. Maybe no one would notice. but they oftentimes forget that there is always an eye in the sky. Dave, we are going to wrap up on this pursuit now that police do have this pursuit suspect in custody, but we want to thank you for your time as always.
No problem, Leslie. Gio, it's always a pleasure. You both take care now. Be safe.
Dave, thank you so much. All right, now let's transition
All right,
over
that's it.
to
All right, thanks,
sports,
everybody.
the final day of the Olympics.
I'll try to
Big one
figure out
there,
the
and what a
computer
closing
thing.
ceremony it was.
Chris Hayrie waiting on standby
Yes.
for us to
Yes,
wrap up that
appreciate you.
pursuit to give us all the good Olympic news.
I'll try to figure out the freaking computer thing. Maybe next time I go live, it won't be like this. All right, thanks, everybody.